Flipped houses are usually easy to fall in love with. Most show really well. They have trendy upgrades, curb appeal, because flippers know how important that is. So they put the money into those cosmetic features. Buying a home is all about being able to picture yourself in the space. And the more visual appeal the home has, the easier that becomes. And flippers know that. So making the house show well, especially in the kitchen, is where they put the money. Where problems can arise are in the things you don't see. The wiring, the plumbing, the crawl space, things like that. I'm going to talk about buying a flipped house and some things to do to protect yourself. I'm Jana Classy. This is my husband Paul, and we are realtors here in the Eastern Panhandle. You can tell if a home has been flipped by looking at the property history. They usually have been bought within the last year or so for quite a bit less than the current asking price. The seller will usually be an LLC. Buying a flipped house can be perfectly fine. I've known people who are very happy with their renovated home. But there's enough horror stories out there to make it a buyer be careful type of purchase. So more due diligence is a good idea when buying a flipped house. Here's 6 things to do if you're considering buying a flipped house. 1, who is the seller? Learn what you can about the person who bought and flipped the house. With so much information online these days, it's lots easier to check out information about a business or an individual. Try to find out if there's been lawsuits. Sites like Spokeo or True People Search are a couple of websites that can help. Number 2, contact information. Also ask for the names of the contractors and the professionals they use to do the work on the house. They aren't required to give you this, but if you get those names, you can check up on their licensing, experience, past work, any pending legal action. Number 3, the list of work done. Ask for a detailed list of what was done to the property, as well as anything that was repaired due to previous defects. You should also ask for an updated seller disclosure. Number 4, permits. Use the seller's list of upgrades to double check the property's permits. If part of the home is found to be out of code or without permits, it could mean serious penalties after you buy the house, or you may have to repair some things. Plus, it could be a red flag for shoddy work. We had a client who bought a flipped house. It was adorable. The seller added a sunroom to the back of the house, no permit. She still wanted to buy the house, so she had it inspected, and there were some things found. They were corrected, but the next heavy rain flooded that sunroom. The hill behind the house sloped right into that area, and there was no drainage. She had to install a drain around it, and it was not cheap to do that. Number 5, warranties. Be sure to ask for all the warranties that come with the house, not only on the appliances, but on any work that was done. Make sure the warranties are transferable and that you have the contact information and other details so that if you need to, you can call on those policies. Number 6, inspections. If you are buying a flipped house, plan on spending more than you normally would on inspections. In addition to the basic home inspection, consider having a plumber come in to take a closer look at the sewage lines and the plumbing. There are video inspection services that can submerge a camera to check out any problems with pipes. Also consider an electrician to make sure that everything is updated properly, especially if it's an older home that had knob and tube wiring. A structural engineer is not a bad idea. We had a listing, an older, charming home. The buyer discovered during a home inspection that the stone foundation in a corner of the basement of the home was crumbling. A structural engineer came in to evaluate, and yes, the structure was insecure and it would be a pretty big expense to fix. The seller refused to fix it, so she didn't buy the house. The thing about something like that is Now that the realtor and the seller are aware of a problem, they are legally obligated to disclose it to the next buyer. When we informed the seller of this requirement, he decided to hire another realtor and not disclose. So the next buyer wouldn't know about this issue unless his home inspection discovered it. If after you purchase a house, you find out an issue was known but not disclosed, you can seek legal remedies. But the cost of hiring a lawyer will come out of your pocket unless part of the suit involves the seller covering your legal expenses, if you win. So if you are buying a flipped house, inspections are really essential. And here's something else. Say you go to an advertised open house and there's this great house with new appliances, new countertops, trendy features, looks like a great renovation. The agent showing the house is the listing agent. You find out he's also the owner of the house and it's a flipper and he was the contractor. He offers to reduce the price if you buy through him. So he's the seller, the listing agent, the flipper. Which way do you think his interest is going to lean? On you or himself? When you are dealing with a flipper, it's a much better idea to have your own buyer agent representing you. It's easy to fall in love with a flipper. They usually look to be move-in ready, tastefully done, welcoming. They are often staged. Buying a home for your family involves your heart and your head. When buying a flipped home, your head needs to be in there even more than it would be buying a home that is not a flipper. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I also did a video on buying a home through an auction, which is another buyer be careful situation. You can click on that video, see what that's all about. If you are interested in buying a home in the Eastern Panhandle, we'd love to help. We're at 304-264-2828. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Have a great day.